Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. Well, we're waiting for Dawn. What's that flower you got on? All right, now we have the oldest rye whiskey from the United States of America. This is Old Overholt, but this is a new recipe from 2020. Remember the exciting year of 2020? This with red cap is 86 proof, aged 3 years, non-chill filter with a new drawing of Abraham Overholt, which is registered in the United States Patent Office. You can't use it. But then who would be wanting you? Oh wait, this one doesn't say registered United States Patent Office. The other bottle does. This says established in 1819. Okay, well, all right, then you can use it. Feel free to do whatever you want. All right, Old Overholt. It's got the Keystones from Pennsylvania, the Keystone State. Wrong. It started in Pennsylvania, but that distillery was shut down years ago. I don't know how many years ago, 25, 30 years ago. And it was bought out by the Beam Company, now known as Beam-Suntory, owned by the Japanese Empire Company, Suntory. This one is non-chill filtered and aged 3 years. So they decided to improve it. Is it better than the other one? It's a little bit better. I don't think, but it's still the same price, $15.99 at Walmart. It says Pennsylvania born, Kentucky distilled. Then there's a whole story about Abraham Overholt. Non-chill filtered. This rye is non-chill filtered, which gives the whiskey a richer, fuller flavor in cold temperatures. And today it's 41 degrees. The whiskey may appear cloudy or have visible particles, which is both normal and natural. So there you go. Brown bottle, that's good. Protects it from light damage. Old Overholt. Now I want to try the new Overholt. I'm just kidding. Old Overholt, new Overholt. Here's a competitor, Hunter S. Thompson Rye. Hunter Rye, imported from the Dominion of Canada. There's a bullet, Canadian Hunter. There's the Canadian Hunter. He's hunting down people who don't want to cooperate with the medical experiments. He's going to get you. He's going to make you pay a tax for not participating in medical experiments as meaning not being a subject of a medical experiment. I don't mean running it. Canadian whiskey, a blend. And then on the side, they talk about Canadian Hunter Rye, 90 proof, has been crafted to deliver the perfect balance of rye, spice, and smooth finish. All right. So it's produced in Canada and it's bottled in Kentucky, in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. So from the British Empire in the Dominion of Canada, Hunter Rye. I was alluding to a story I heard on CBS News on the hour today at nighttime. It's still nighttime. The Queen's government in Quebec is going to tax people who refuse to participate in this peculiar medical experiment. Because they said, like, I don't know, 20% of the population or 14% are holdouts. They're like, no, I don't want to be the subject of a medical experiment, Dr. Mengele. But Queen Elizabeth's government says, oh, you will do it. This empire doesn't play. You're going to get taxed. And that's just the start. So it's very comical to me. I love comedy, you know. I'm like, y'all love a good laugh. And the same British people or British, you know, in the British Empire, the French Canadians or whatever, they prattle on about, oh, don't you know those Germans did medical experiments on people in 1944 over there in Europe without their permission? Oh, it's quite terrible. We put those gangsters on trial. And then we copied what they did, and now we are doing it. We admire those National Socialists. And And then Boris Karloff in the capital of the British Empire is in trouble now because turns out he was having a party. I was having a business meeting out in the garden behind number 10 Downing Street. This he was saying. He was trying to explain his when he had the whole country under totalitarian lockdown in 2020. Turns out he invited all his British Empire friends to come to a garden party and bring your own booze. But, you know, he wasn't going to buy it. Said, bring your own booze. And then he's saying on the British Empire news, oh, I considered it a walking meeting, like it was a work meeting. But like they said on Yahoo News, and Yahoo News is very pro-British and very socialistic, also tyrannical. But they were saying, but those draconian rules, I'm adding the word draconian because it's appropriate. They said those rules did not give exceptions to British rulers to have garden parties with people from all over the country without, you know, to break outside the bubble. And I had to laugh because I said, what I've been saying, you ever notice I'm always right? What I've been saying for 2 years now, almost 2 years, I was saying that the people that are trying to perpetuate this fear don't believe it. They're not scared of it. They're just, oh, well, we were having a business meeting. Yeah, they were boozing it up and having a party is what they were doing, just like the governor of California going to a fancy French restaurant with following no kind of protocols, you know. So what have we learned? We have learned that the tyrannical rulers of the liberal democracies who drop atom bombs on people don't follow the rules they make for everyone. They have whiskey rules. Do they follow the rules for whiskey? They probably don't. They don't follow any other rules. Okay, let me put a little bit more old Overholt. So it's so comical, and we can learn funny things by watching the news, and with a trained eye and a good ear and a good appreciation of comedy. It's very entertaining. Very entertaining. All right, David Cassidy says, good morning, Ronald T. Maxwell. Good morning, Ron. Cheers. Good morning to you, Maxwell, in Russia. Shug Joe says, neat. Yeah, I'm drinking them neat, room temperature. Or AOC going to Miami party and right out of Max. Yeah, well, she's just like all these other socialist tyrannists. They don't believe what they preach. They just preach it so they can control you. Yes, but she's a Latina communist. That makes it different. Yeah, that's true. A cute little Mrs. Fidel Castro. Oh, well. What if she wanted to do whiskey reviews with me? If she said, hey, comrade, I'm a communist up here in New York, and I would like to do a whiskey review with you who is anti-communist. Would you agree to it? I would agree to it. And I would have some pertinent questions to ask Mrs. Castro, Mrs. Stalin. All right. No, nothing personal, you know, no hard feeling. All right. So anyway, enough of that. Enough about the Queen Elizabeth's government in Quebec taxing people for refusing to participate or declining to participate in a medical experiment. Aren't you glad we don't have a queen or a king in America? You say, yeah, we just have a half senile dictator, right? And, you know, we're Americans. We rather be tyrannized by a dictator president, so-called, than a queen. Americans are comical. They say, we don't have a king or queen. We're America, man. We get tyrannized by these other goofballs, these clowns, these gangsters. So I've always said that. Wouldn't you rather be tyrannized by a Republican government, a republic, than a monarchy? Of course, when you think about that, doesn't really make a whole lot of sense because you're being tyrannized anyway. But, you know, why let logic on this channel? We don't let logic interfere with our sloganeering. You know, we're like 4th of July parades. We don't let logic bleed into it. We just march around and cheer and say hurrah and all of those things that we do because we're smart. We're exceptional. We're an exceptional country. We're better than all the other countries in the world by virtue of us saying that. See, if you say it, that means it's true. True story. All right. All right. So thanks for watching, David. Appreciate your support. Thanks for watching. Maxwell, appreciate your support. Appreciate everybody's support. It's a big party. Well, this smells like rye. Why ask why? Just say rye. Peppermint, mint, grain, bread. I'm talking loud. All the normal rye whiskey notes. Too strong. You heard she tested positive for the COVID. Oh, well, she's not worried about that. Like I just said, these people they're not fearful of the things they want you to be fearful of. They use it as a tool. They're laughing behind the scenes. They're laughing. Look at these fools walking around the store wearing a Max. Got no kind of sense. But then there's these troublemakers like this Louisiana Beer Reviews guys. He solved the riddle. He solved the puzzle. He's a problem. Yeah, because I'm like Toto. You know, Toto pulled the curtain back, and then all these people, Queen Elizabeth, Boris Karloff, Comrade Alexandria, Uncle Joe, they're saying, pay no mind to that man behind the curtain. I am the great and powerful drumhead government, you know. This one smells nice, but it's very mild, and it has that undercurrent of white rum or what you want to call almond extract, as John and Nile coined the term. It's got to be Hunter Rye. Now, do I oppose the aroma? I don't oppose it. And in fact, when I did the solo review of Hunter Rye, the revisit, I gave it a B+. It's very good. And for $11.99 a bottle, no problem, no problem. But don't think it's going to be wonderful, exploding plastic, inevitable. It's not going to be that. It's not going to be the Velvet Underground and Nico. You know, it's not going to be Transformer. It's not going to be Loaded. Who's Next? Rumors. Led Zeppelin 4. It's not going to be that because it ain't that. It's more like Into the Outdoor. All right. So this has got to be, well, I'm not going to get too confident. I'm going to be cool. Discretion is the better part of valor. Let me cool out. And I'm going to taste it. But I think I know. Haha, that's the old Overholt. How do I know? Because it doesn't taste like almond extract, and it has a bold rye presentation, whereas the Hunter Rye has a very faint rye presentation. It's a full body. It's a lingering finish, not lingering too long. It's been a long, long, long time. All right. Like George Harrison might say. I like it. I like it. And for $15.98, I really like it. Of course, I had to pay $18 for the 80 proof because I couldn't find it. When they discontinued it, I couldn't find it. My friend David ran across it at thanks for thinking of me, David. He ran across it at Elio's Wine Warehouse. So I had to pay, you know, so I could try it, but that's all right. I only paid $2.02 more. 47 years as a representative of Delaware, and I can't remember anything memorable he did while in office. He can't remember anything he did either. All right. Well, he helped promote big government, socialism, global domination, things like that. Debt, inflation, national debt, deficit spending, all the things we associate with incompetence. That's what he's known for. So I guess if you would say, describe that fellow in one word, you say creepy. Well, that would be a good, but I would say incompetent. Yes, grossly incompetent. Well, that's 2 words. All right, I added an adjective. Good morning, Ron, checking in. Hey, Jeep and Foodie, Caleb. Burley Sullivan says, you. All right. People say, you're picking on the British Empire. I mean, the British Commonwealth. I ain't picking on the British Empire, man. I'm just talking about something I heard on the news today. I didn't write the news story. CBS on the up to the minute wrote it. On the hour. That's right. They changed the name of the program. CBS News on the hour. They reported it. I didn't report it. You say you're just picking on Queen Elizabeth's government and in Quebec, Canada. I'm not picking on her. Why would I? Hey, I got a good sense. I ain't going to start no trouble. Shoot, I'll be driving my car and run into a wall by a tunnel somewhere. Get mortally wounded, gravely wounded. Think I'm crazy? Ain't sending 007 after me. All right. Been my boss. All right. So, ding, 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 ding. Hunter Rye, told you, HR. That doesn't mean human resources. Hunter Rye. Well, it loses again. You say, why does it keep losing? It keeps losing because it's inferior to all the other ones I tried, see? But that doesn't mean it's bad. It's just not as good as all the other ones I've tried. It's like when people ask me, what's the worst Major League Baseball stadium you ever been to? Because I've been to a game at every one, every single. If people keep, and then I'll tell them that. I say, I've been to a game at every Major League Baseball stadium. And then they'll say, you ever been to Fenway Park? And I think to myself, what does that word every mean to you? Been to every Major League Baseball stadium, but you just asked me a follow-up question. Have I ever been to Fenway Park? Well, and I tell them, I say, you got to remember, the worst Major League Baseball park is really nice, okay? So it's a matter of relative quality, okay? It's like these rye whiskeys. The worst rye whiskey I have, which is obviously Hunter Rye, but I don't know. I didn't go up against Canadian Crown Royal's Northern Harvest Rye, but you know it's going to win. But you got to remember, the worst rye whiskey I've got is really good. It's a B+. So it's a relative situation. And a lot of people that do beer reviews can't grasp that concept. Apparently they can't, or they don't want to, but probably more like they can't. And I watch them. They'll do videos, and they'll talk about common products like Busch Beer or Budweiser or Miller High Life or I don't know, Stella Artois, something like that. And they talk about, oh, it's so horrible. Oh, this beer is so horrible. I'm like, that beer's not horrible. It's just it's not as good as these other ones, you know, because it's cheaper. You know, it's not as good as the Alchemist Heady Topper, but then it's not $5 a can. It's 89 cents a bottle. But they'll be histrionic about it or hysterical about it. I don't like hysterical beer reviews. I like well thought out, sensible, and there are many out there like that. There's some that are terrible, horrible. I was watching one last night and I said, I'm going to A, not subscribe to his channel, and B, I'm going to delete all the videos I had saved to watch later. I think I'm going to give him one more chance. All he does is cuss the whole time. This motor scooter is like this. this son of a gun is like this, and so forth. He's going on and on. I'm like, okay, great. You curse, you swear, we get it. Okay, you vape, we get it. You got tattoos, great. Okay, Havana's great. What is the channel about? Is it about beer or these other products, or is it about some kind of like psychological sickness that you have? You know what I'm saying? It's like, I have to filter them out, you know, like I go through the video review channels, and I've been watching since 2010. So I consider myself a viewer more than a producer. I do make content, as evidenced by what's happening right now, but I'm more of a viewer. So I'll filter it out and I'll say, well, this channel's terrible. You know, I don't care what the person says about the product, because what they say doesn't even make any sense. And their presentation is horrendously bad. It's offensive and abrasive and unpleasant and unpalatable. Now you say your counterpoint might be, oh, you got offended. You got offended. You're so weak. The weak need to go home. I didn't say I was offended. I said their content was offensive. I don't get offended usually. I really don't. I'm more of a person who offends people. You know, I offend people, and I don't do it on purpose. I do it on accident. Well, I guess I kind of do it on purpose in a way, because I do plant little flames out there, political flames, but I'm trying to get a response and see what people think, to make them think. You know, it's all about trying to get them to think. And, but I'm not trying to offend them. Not really. Just trying to energize their thinking so that they'll be more engaged and not be blasé about the world situation and everything. So, but no, I don't get offended about these things. I just think the channel is poor. I mean, you know, every movie you watch is great, no. But back to the beer, so you get a lot worse beer reviewers than you get the actual beer. So if you go through all the beers in the world, from my experience, they're mostly pretty good, or very good, or excellent. Are there bad ones? There are, but they're not common. I don't think they're common. You say, what about Four Loko? You see, Four Loko is a strange little product, because on the surface, it's bad. Like, you have to regard it in a very negative, hostile way. So you say, Four Loko is bad. It's bad. It just has a bad approach, 14% alcohol, and it's just got a bad connotation, a bad pretext, a bad everything. And I would tend to go along with that. But there is a little problem with that. I was realizing when I was testing out Four Loko products about a year ago, I said, I didn't realize that the joke was on me. In other words, it's supposed to be a joke. You understand? It's not supposed to be taken seriously. So you have to look at Four Loko in a certain context. And if you read their website, and they're not salacious or like offensive or like bad or anything, but it's like a wry, like dry sense of humor that they have, and they're funny about it, you know. But then when you taste the product, you have to say to yourself, you know, this product really is not bad. And my friend David had to admit that when we did the Black Lime, the Four Loko Black, which is trying to mimic the very rare Mountain Dew Black Lime, or the Mellow Yellow Black Lime. If you find that, you might win a prize. And my friend was like, they don't have black limes. I said, they do have black limes. And he looked it up, and he was like, wow, I can't believe that. So, and it's natural flavors. So they're using real natural flavors. So he was saying, he said, I can't say it's bad, like on its face, prima facie evidence. You know, I cannot say it's bad. It's well made. The flavor is actually good. It's just a horrible thing that it would be 14%. I mean, and it tastes like a candy, like a Jolly Rancher. It's supposed to taste like that. And you can't fault products that taste like they're supposed to taste, even though you don't maybe like what they're trying to taste like. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. You have to have a certain perspective about the product. I like rye whiskey, so I would be inclined to be biased towards these. You see what I'm saying? I have to watch it because I'm inclined to be biased toward them. Whereas with like Tequila, I might be more like inclined to dislike it because I'm not really into that flavor, you know. Or gin, even that's a better example. Gin. When would I ever want to drink gin again in my life? Never. So you have to try to put yourself, you have to have like compartmentalized thinking. You have to kind of like have an objective approach to it. You know what I'm saying? Like a hypothetical, an abstract. You have to engage in abstract thought. That's what I'm trying to get at. An abstract thought means you distance yourself from the concept at hand and you say, okay, we're looking at this product, in other words, gin. We know we don't care for it personally, but on the other hand, many people do, and it's not made for me personally. The world does not revolve or whatever around my own personal preferences. So you have to have an ability to engage in abstract thought, which unfortunately everybody does not have that ability. But if you're blessed by God to have that ability, then you need to use that talent. Good morning, Ron, checking in. You, says Burley Sullivan, what are your thoughts on the Royals Kauffman Stadium? Says Jeep. Well, they're very positive thoughts, actually. I went there twice, in 05 and 07. Now, that stadium is 49 years old, but I was very impressed. I thought they kept it up very nice. Is it a beautiful surrounding? Like, oh, you can walk downtown and go to a bistro and a coffee house. No, it's right off the interstate out in the, like, really almost like in the country, you would call it, in Kansas City city limits. So if you're, and there's a few hotels across the street. So if your interest level is like looking at 18-wheelers on the interstate in a parking lot, you're going to love it. You know, it's beautiful. Across the parking lot is the Kansas City Chiefs Stadium, Arrowhead Stadium. So it's very sparse as far as that. There is a Wendy's restaurant, I think, so you can go eat at Wendy's. And a Taco Bell. I know there's Taco Bell because I ate a Taco Bell when I went. So that, but the stadium itself is wonderful. It's a wonderful stadium. I would give it a solid A. Yeah. J Rock says, cheers, love the content. Hey, cheers back to you, and I appreciate your support. Burley says, so what's your least favorite baseball stadium? Talking about Major League? Well, I don't know. Oh, yeah, I'll tell you what it is. It's the Astros ballpark, Houston Astros ballpark, whatever the corporate name of it is this week. Minute Maid. Next week it might be Four Loko ballpark. See, it has a very bad flaw, and that is that the outfield faces the west because they want to have a view of downtown. You know, who ever heard of going to a game and actually watching the game, right? Well, it's very pretty. You get to look at downtown, but there's one little problem. It's summertime. The light, what is the sun doing in the evening when they have a ball game? It's going down. It shines in your face for hours. There's a huge glass wall. The whole west side of the stadium ballpark is a glass wall. And you know how hot it gets in Houston, Texas in the summer? I'm going to tell you how hot. Very hot. And that air conditioning system is pumping full bore. Can't keep up. Can't keep up. Can't keep up. So you're hot, even though you're in the air conditioning, because they never open the roof. I don't know why they built a retractable roof. They didn't need to. They open it 20 games a year. And the glare is terrible. So there's this terrible glare coming in your face. So yeah, that's my least favorite. It's nice. I mean, my friend David liked it. He said, I don't like it, but he liked it just to go to the experience. He doesn't really like sports. So I told him, I said, let's not do any more sporting trips because you don't like it. You get bored and you want to leave, and I don't want to leave. Plus it was a no-hitter. So you think I'm going to leave a no-hitter? I don't think so. So he said it was like a mall. like a shopping mall more than a baseball stadium, a mall park. I said, yeah, that's the criticism of Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, that it's more like a shopping mall than a ballpark. You know, there's so many little stores and activities, and it's like you're walking in a mall. But I like it too, you know. But anyway, so my least favorite would be Tropicana Field, Minute Maid Park in Houston. Even though it's very nice, still an A stadium, still an A, maybe A minus. Yeah, A minus because of that flaw. Just recently viewed your Pabst Blue Ribbon video, the one with the 3-piece Church's Fried Chicken. It's most excellent. That was a great video. Unfortunately, Hurricane Ida, as my father would say, swashbuckled the Church's Fried Chicken here, and it's been sitting there derelict since. So will it ever come back? I don't have a good feeling about that. And I was going to churches all the time with those coupons. And I started going to that churches in 1974. When I was 6 years old, my mother would go over there and we'd sit outside because you used to have a little patio part under the canopy where you could sit. But she always ordered that white meat. And I couldn't stand fried chicken when I was a little kid because it's always so dry, you know. I was like, ugh, you know, because you get a breast and it's so dry. And I just always hated fried chicken as a child because it was like it was sucking all the moisture out of your body. But now, you know, you get the dark meat and it's more juicy, and you can get dry. And now that's why the white meat, they always have the dipping sauce because it's so dry you can't hardly stand it, you know. I like the history and info on that one. Thank you. Church's Fried Chicken started by a man named Church, Mr. Church. His last name was Church in 1952. But in the Muslim countries, they don't call it Church's. They call it Texas chicken because they were worried that the Muslims would think it was made by the church, a Christian church. And they would say, why did they trying to sell chicken from a church? Like they would misinterpret the meaning behind it. So they changed it to Texas chicken. That's comical. But I mean, you know, you can understand why they did that. Popeyes has a nice product, in my opinion. Their Cajun rice is really good too. Yes, Popeyes, which started in Araby, Louisiana in 1972. Yeah, it's 50th anniversary of Popeyes. I guess they'll have a lot of promotions this year. I think next week I'll do a Popeyes breakfast overnight video where I go to Popeyes in the dark, get their breakfast platter, which is huge. You won't be hungry till afternoon, and do a beer review with it. And people love those videos, and I do too because I love eating the food. Thank y'all for watching this video production. Sorry, Canadian Hunter. I'm sorry you keep getting beat, but that's not really my problem because I didn't make the product. So Canadian Hunter loses again, but I think we'll survive. Canadian Hunter Rye. Is it a good product? It is a good product. $11.99. Can't complain, but it doesn't match up to these other ones. No, it doesn't really. So we'll close it out Saturday morning with Crown Royal Northern Harvest Rye versus Hunter Rye. And I mean, you could skip watching that video. Just skip it because it's going to be a total annihilation. I mean, it's going to be bad. Like, really bad. Because there is no way. It's an impossibility. It cannot happen that Hunter Rye would come close to Canadian Crown Royal's Northern Harvest Rye. Ain't going to happen. And then we're getting into bourbon. We got bourbon coming up starting Sunday. Oh, yes. Thanks for watching this video production.